Now we're going in depth. The investigative team here at Fox 13 has been tracking the people who are supposed to watch out for worker safety. We showed you the responsible agencies have made few inspections and really issued hardly any citations over pandemic concerns. Well, today, the U.S. Occupational Safety and Health Administration, you know it as OSHA, issued new guidance to keep COVID-19 out of the workplace. Fox 13 investigative reporter Nate Carlisle joins us in studio to talk about this, how it might impact workers in Utah. Nate, and I want to start with a quick recap so our viewers are aware. In your reporting, you didn't find that very much enforcement was happening. Is that right?
That's right, Max. As of early December, there had been 48,000 pandemic complaints nationwide and only about 2,000 inspections. There had also only been 263 citations issued nationwide, 0 in Utah.
And the outbreaks that we've had in Utah, including, I remember the really significant one up in Logan in a meatpacking plant, but we've had workplace outbreaks that have even led to deaths. Isn't that right?
That's right. The meatpacking plant in Hiram, Utah, we know one worker died there because there was an OSHA inspection about it. And look, nursing homes are basically workplace outbreaks. You know, when you have an outbreak in a nursing home, and nursing homes have been a big source of death in Utah and elsewhere. There's been research on this saying that workplace infections are workplace warnings are kind of the precursor to community outbreaks.
And you know, as we were talking about this in Utah, I know that we're a part of this larger company, Scripps, and I know that your reporting actually took you into spaces where you weren't just looking at Utah. This became something of a national project.
Yeah, that's right. We took a look at OSHA nationwide and looked at the data, and we talked with union representatives in Florida, and we looked at complaints. I remember looking at some in Kansas City, for example. We talked with the former health and safety director of the AFL-CIO, and I'm actually going to be speaking with her today for a story later tonight about the impact of this new guidance from OSHA.
And what are the changes that we've heard about or that the Labor Department announced this morning?
Well, this is guidance, which isn't quite the same thing as orders, but in short, they're telling employers that they need to be looking around at the hazards that could exist in their workplace, identify control measures. Here's a big one. They need to come up with employee absent policies that discourage workers from coming to the job when they might be infected. They also need to put out this information in multiple languages.
Yeah, you know, a lot of these workplaces that we talk about, I think of like the meatpacking industry. You're going to have workers who are relying on those jobs to feed a family. They may speak another language, and they can't lose that income, right? I mean, there have to be policies that let them not be punished for staying away from work because they have COVID.
That's pretty much what OSHA said today, yes. And this could impact a lot of workplaces. I mean, even here at Fox 13, Max, our human resources people are going to have to take a look at this new guidance and make sure we're in compliance. And if we're not, we're going to have to fix it here too, just like other workplaces around the country and all across Utah for that matter.
It has become a fact of life. We hear about, from human resources even here all the time, they're contact tracing when someone is in contact, that sort of thing. Now, in terms of the broader impact of this. Now we have a new administration, and traditionally a Democratic administration is expected to be a little bit more on the side of regulation, maybe on the side of labor. Is that a part of this picture, and what do we expect to see in terms of impact?
Yes, that's exactly what's happened here. That under the Trump administration, OSHA didn't want to come up with more specific guidance for workplaces, and the Biden administration does want that guidance. We should point out, however, that OSHA did maintain that existing standards were sufficient to go out and cite workplaces if they were truly unsafe during the pandemic. However, in practice, it didn't quite work that way, and we could spend all day talking about perhaps why that wasn't. But the bottom line is the Biden administration wanted to put this in some bold lettering so that employers and inspectors know what to be looking for.
And I mean, in your investigation, you found, just like we recapped, that there were outbreaks. So clearly something was happening in the workplace that was not meeting whatever standard you need to not have outbreaks. And citations, and you found that citations were not being issued, right?
Pretty much right. I mean, as of mid-December, there were still 0 citations issued in Utah, and across the country there were 263 that had been issued. But that's, you know, across all 50 states, and there's a lot more employers than that. It's not near as many as it might sound.
263 in a country with 330-some million people. Okay. Well, good job, Nate. You know this. You do this reporting, and you wonder if anybody, if anybody sees, and you know, it's you became a part of the conversation. So good work. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Max.